talking fishing, nothing but fishing, talking fishing. If it's facts about fishing that you want to know, then tune in, folks, cause this is the show. We'll show you all the right bait to use, so sit right back, you got nothing to lose. Doesn't really matter if it's trout or carp, flathead, marlin or a gummy shark. Listen to the guys and you can't go wrong. They'll be talking about fishing till the cows come home. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Hey, welcome everyone to Talking Fishing, another big show coming your way tonight. I tell you what, terrible weather, but we have scraped up 6 people that went fishing for Catch of the Week tonight. Product of the Week, the perfect rig for a species prolific in Port Phillip Bay right now. We've got mailbag, we've got hotspots, plenty of fisheries news. There's some big news tonight breaking today, but all that, boys. Ads?
Yeah, I'm done with wind, Dave.
Oh, even the next week, like the next of the whole week.
Yep, done with it.
Wind.
I
don't know.
Trelly, you've had a bit of wind. How has it been in Shepparton though?
Fine. Our river system's fine. You know, you get up there, you just go into the next bend, no wind.
Can we talk serious for a second though?
Mm-hmm.
Charlie, a lot of people are coming into the shop and saying that that Eildon's been a bit tough.
Yep.
The cod normally have fired a bit more, and they say there's some people that are a bit superstitious that if Eildon is rising, the fish bite. If Eildon's draining, the fish don't bite. It seems to me they're still letting a lot of water out of Eildon.
Yeah, they're letting
down the Goulburn. It's meant to be pretty full on.
Letting a little bit out. I was just looking at the percentage. I think it's around about 56%. Hasn't moved a lot.
Yeah.
But
is that normal? Is that normal for this time of year?
Wouldn't it be filling this time of year normally?
Yeah, it would be normally filling, yes, correct.
Because of the drought, are they letting a lot more out?
No, they're sort of trickling it out through the irrigation. It's probably going to start very soon and just a little bit of a flow down. But yeah, no, you're right. It generally does fish a little bit better when it's rising.
Yeah.
Like the river systems. When it's falling, it doesn't. But you're right with the superstition. It's like putting 2 socks on when you play basketball. So.
I tried. I had
only 2 socks.
I had someone come in the other day and said, "Oh, you know what? Give me a tip for Lake Eildon cod." And I said, "Well, you know, old Don, he's 98." Very
so
shortly.
he's seen a few Eildon trips.
He's seen a few trips, you know, and he says to me it's got to be rising.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to explain to the customer how a Murray cod knows that the height of Eildon's actually going up instead of going down. And how do you reckon I went explaining it?
Oh, really good.
Still trying to explain it.
That wasn't good. I'll tell you what, about a dozen cans would have made the explanation a lot more sensible. But anyway, at Saltwater Scene Ads, we're going to tie a rig tonight. You're going to tie a rig tonight for people.
It's going to be...
Which I would say, say is the second most prolific species in Port Phillip Bay right now.
Yeah, and I think... Probably
after
species.
calamari. I'd like the people at home to try and guess. If you want to, we fixed our problems. I think we're actually live on Facebook tonight.
There you go.
So those on Facebook, I'd like to see your comments. What is the species that Adam's going to tie a rig for tonight? We're going to tell you the perfect rig.
We're currently getting more questions about this species than anything else in fishing at the moment.
Did we do it last week?
No, we didn't.
No,
we didn't.
But if we did, I wasn't here.
Tell you what we did do last week. Let's have a look at what's been caught by the people at home. It's time for Catch of the Week.
Catch of the Week, brought to you by Shimano, providing reliable, trustworthy, quality fishing gear for your enjoyment.
And I tell you what a little bit of rain makes to Patterson River, because normally it's quite a salty system.
Yep.
And you know you've got tides in out every day. But when that Dandenong Creek flows through the National Water Sports Centre into Patterson River, it changes that system.
It does massively.
And estuary perch are on the chew. I tell you, Marlon Blackford got out in the kayak, and him and his mate, they got some cracking EPs in Patterson Lakes.
Yeah, I caught up with Marlon on Saturday morning at the shop, and he's doing some fishing, the young gun, and he's finding some fish. So the perch are up and about, which they generally are after a good rain in the Paddo system. Just flick under the bridges.
So tell me, because I don't understand estuary perch that well, where do they live when it's not a lot of fresh water going in? It's very salty. Do they go right up the back? Do they like the brackish water?
They do, yeah. Well,
where do they go?
Well, this time of year, it's a little bit unusual because their spawning habits means that they'll spawn down the front of most of these systems where it is quite salty. But a species that can live in salt water and fresh, depending, we see Devil Bend there, that's a freshwater system. There's plenty of estuary perch, so they can adapt.
And they're putting a lot in the Maribyrnong River too.
They are.
They're just stocking up. But I haven't seen a lot of estuary perch come out of Patterson River. Is that-
No, it's a more common thing, but I think you'll find a lot of those fish are stock fish from a different system. There's another, there's a nearby system to Patterson Lakes, which when we get the heavy rains and it floods, as
but
what
they're
normally
stocked in there.
Yeah, a long time ago. That's why you.
What, Morty Lake Creek?
Well, I don't know where they come
Balcombe.
from. No, there's another little.
Where?
It's a little landlocked arrangement, which now when it floods, they come through the pipelines into Paddo.
Oh, the internal lakes of Patterson Lakes.
And you, because you never, you rarely see a small estuary perch come out of Patterson Lakes.
Well, now we've spent 5 minutes on
Estuary perch.
On estuary
And
perch.
then moving on.
Got to get on the rest.
There's not many.
Gummy sharks are pretty good this time of year, and also land-based can be pretty good. Chase White got a few nice gummies at Jam Gerrit, which is on the eastern side of Western Port.
It is, and a land-based favourite for gummy sharks.
Yeah.
And well done, Chase. Good fish.
We've said all along, although I know we've only been back 1 week, but in our fishery reports that keep going right through winter, we've said that the salmon are sensational on the beaches, boys. They were good in the bay during summer.
Yep.
They are sensational on the surf beaches, and Dwayne Penza got down to Anglesey Beach and
That's a big sambo.
He called it for 2+ kilos. It's much bigger than 2+ kilos.
That's a big sambo.
That is a big sambo.
Yeah. Good on you, Dwayne, for being conservative with your weight, but I reckon it's bigger than...
Not a real fisherman, is he?
He's bigger than 2 kilos,
He's a modest fisherman. Well done, Dwayne.
That's a good fish.
Let's keep it moving along. And Moorabool Reservoir, which is out towards Ballarat, Sammy Howson got there and had a lovely day
cold
for
day,
some
look at that.
beautiful... yeah, a bit cold, but what a lovely brown
brown.
trout.
Good looking brown.
Yeah, beautiful reservoir that,
Lovely
and great for land-based. And
What did you get that
good
on?
conditioned fish.
Dunno.
Don't know what he got on. No, got no idea.
bit of
But anyway,
Bacon rind.
another favourite place of ours that we bang on about a fair bit is Blue Rock Lake,
Yes.
boys, and it's either bass or trout.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's some beautiful trout there. Andrew Kettler, who also featured last week on the salmon. Andrew gets a bout, I'll tell you what, and a lovely 35 centimetre brown trout out of Blue Rock.
That's it. And I think the sign of wearing 12 hoodies and 4 jackets, Andrew, was a bit fresh that morning, but some good trout moving around Blue Rock.
Yeah,
It's good.
absolutely. One of the places that I think we've seen more trout of this year than probably the cod and the yellow belly. Like we were just saying about the levels of Eildon, quite a few trout coming out of there, Trelly. And Emma Jewell headed up to Lake Eildon and got a lovely 45 centimetre trout, and then followed by a 51 centimetre trout, which I think we've got a picture of the second
trout.
fish as well.
Yeah,
And
it is.
yeah, there's been a few good ones coming out of there, particularly around Jerusalem Creek.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, yep.
Just
You can see-
flat line in Tassies. And
Yeah, that's all.
Well, you
Yeah.
can see by that photo, the amount of bare bank behind it. It's sitting about 56%, but there's still a lot of water in it. It doesn't look down,
Yeah, yeah.
So there's still a large amount of water up there you can fish. It's a good spot.
Hey, is it Trelly up at Lake Eildon? I mean, it's pretty much a record snow season, certainly for the last 20 years anyway. There's a lot, I mean, well over, I think, the 1 metre mark at Bulla. Does that mean, because it's so cold and there's a lot of snow, does that mean there's not a lot of off-run from the from the snow melt, because it wouldn't be melting yet, and then we haven't had a lot of rain really. I mean, we're in drought.
Yeah, I don't believe there's a lot of actually water in snow.
Yeah,
Because it is what it is, and a lot of people say, there's plenty of snow, we're going to get a lot of runoff.
It doesn't necessarily happen.
No, I think it just falls into the soil, works its way through the dirt and things like that. Don't get a lot of runoff from snow. We'd rather it be wet as far as rain up that way to fill the dam, that type of thing.
which has been a lack of.
Yeah, so, but
yeah.
good conditions, a little bit of water will run off there.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention, if you'd like to send in a pic of your catch of the week, this is what you have to do.
If you want to be like me and have your photo on TV, email your fishing pic to info@ifish.com.au.
Yeah, I wanna go fishing.
Now, Trelly, just before we go to the break, I've got a question for you, a technical question, right?
Okay.
No, you're well set this season. We've looked after you for the, we're at number 2.
Got me
No,
here. Yeah.
it's
Got
number
my heater
2.
behind me.
You got a heater behind you, but what the hell? There is a stick. We've got a closer. Why is there a stick in the fire?
Well, that was the last bit of timber I could find around here
What the?
to stick in the Arlec.
What's it there for,
So,
though?
yeah, obviously it's not going to burn. We'll stick that down
Gotta
there.
get the fire
We'll
roaring.
stick that stick
Hang
down
on.
there for later.
Is that not a real fire? Shh.
Shh, don't tell the people out there. It's a real fight. Don't you, Ray? My back's got it.
I thought someone had written a new contract through Channel 31 for you, and you got a bit fussy and said, well, I'm not going to appear on Talking Fishing unless I have a heater behind me.
And then someone goes and sticks a bit of treated pine in there and tries to kill me.
There you go.
Right.
Coming up next, Fisheries news. Plenty of it, I tell you, right after this.
Talking fishing.
We know what you'd rather be doing.
We know what you've really got in mind.
We know you'd rather be out fishing. And today's the day you're gonna wet a line. 'Cause every day's a good day.
Stop wishing.
Every day's a chance to drift away. Drift away.
Every day's a good day for fishing. See it down and tackle world today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing. We're talking fishing.
Live from the studios of Channel 31 Melbourne, it's now time for some very fishy news.
Boys, some breaking news that came through today, and we just rushed it onto the show because it only came out late today. Some great news, and for anybody at home that's been through, I know it's winter and there's not a lot of boats out, but Patterson Lakes and Patterson River boat ramp is the busiest in Victoria. And for anyone that's seen that lately, they're actually doing the level crossing removal in Carrum.
Okay. Yeah.
But they are also building, and I was blown away because I haven't been there, all year, I guess. And I actually came through in a boat into Patterson River the other day, and they're
So
actually
there's a level crossing in the lake, is there?
no. Well, there's a train bridge across the river system that goes out to the bay.
Right.
So there's a road bridge.
Yep.
Right. Then there's a rail bridge.
Yep.
But then there's this station street that goes along.
Yep.
Then you have to go across the level crossing, out along the Peen Highway, back across the level crossing to continue on Station Street.
Yep.
What they've done now is built a whole new bridge.
Okay.
A whole new bridge across Patterson River, which is a pretty big engineering feat without closing the river.
Yes.
So the river's been open. So, media release out today that Patterson River Bridge opens early for snapper season is the headline. Work on the Patterson River Road Bridge is ahead of schedule, and the bridge will open to traffic by the end of September in time for snapper season. So they're actually thinking about having everything ready for the snapper season. Big news. Carrum residents can look forward to being able to drive along Station Street without having to detour onto the Nepean Highway for the first time. Something locals have asked for decades. So it's going to stop that 2 level crossings. If you're coming from, say, Mordialloc, Aspendale, any of that, you can just come along Station Street, continue on the bridge. I don't know if you wouldn't be familiar with it, Trelly, but
I think so, because you've got to go up in that roundabout and across. And
it seriously changes things. So that's all good. The Patterson River Bridge is part of the Andrews Labor government's $588 million project, which includes 3 level crossing removals, the revitalisation of Carrum Village, and the new promenade, which will ensure a safer connection for drivers, cyclists and pedestrians, making short local trips safer and easier. The new bridge will have 2 lanes for local traffic open by the end of September, with a dedicated bike lane and a shared walking and cycling path opening later in the year. Construction and landscaping will continue until early into 2019. So not all the works is going to be finalised, boys.
But it'll be open and ready to go.
For boats and cars that are travelling to Patterson Lakes from that northern side, it's going to be a hell of a lot better. So now I know the big question on everybody's lips is the car park at Patterson River, and so at the moment they've got a very big, or not a very big area, but they've got everything from ramp 1 to the west is actually fenced off, and that's their construction yard. So that will be significantly reduced. There'll still be a little work yard there that's going to have, because they've still got all the pedestrian and the bike lane and all that sort of stuff to do. So there's a little bit of work to do, but nothing like the impact that it's having right now. And that's a big announcement, because there's a lot of people saying that it's going to be a disaster for snapper season and
fishing platforms.
Oh, there's plenty of bank access.
Oh,
so no, that's all good. Just won't be able to do it from the road bridge. I don't think they put it there. No, but it's good. It's great for access for cars and boats coming from the northern side of Patterson River to get to the launching ramp. It's going to be awesome, and a little bit of patience will actually mean that you know, for the next your lifetime, you're going to have better conditions down there. So, all right, let's look at one that we looked back in February. And we'll put a picture up here. Who remembers this one? Lakes Entrance Fisheries officers intercepted a man attending a 24.5 metre trammel net in the Now arm of Lake Tyers. I don't know if you remember that.
I remember the glory picture Fisheries.
Yeah, he was found in possession of 4 undersized brims and was using 3 fishing rods, which each had up to 6 hooks on them. These rods had also been left set in the water unattended. And I tell you what, this guy went to court last week. He was the matter was heard in the Bairnsdale Magistrates Court, and the man was found guilty of using and possessing a trammel net, taking undersized fish, using more than 2 hooks on one line, and failing to remain in a position where the rods were within sight and within 50 metres. So that's the law, apparently. His stand-up paddleboard, 4 rods and reels and associated fishing equipment worth about $300 were forfeited. Well, that's pretty cheap for a stand-up paddleboard.
I must have got that wrong.
Made it himself.
Probably $3,000.
A stand-up paddleboard would be worth more than that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. He forfeited all that and he was issued a fine with conviction of $900, ordered to pay $97. I reckon that's actually a bit cheap. I reckon he should have got a bit more than that. $900 fine.
And give them their $300 paddleboard.
Yeah. Anyway, that was from a 1-3 fish call, so well done. Boys, there has been a reported fish kill down at Malakuta. It's believed to be a natural occurrence. The minor fish kill currently impacting Malakuta's lower lake.
Suicide.
It's not suicide.
Cult.
It's likely a natural occurrence caused by environmental conditions in the inlet, which has been closed since November last year. So Malakuta Inlet has been closed since November last year. Victorian Fisheries Authority CEO Travis Dowling, who will be on the show next week, by the way, said that sand whiting were most affected through numbers of dead fish, although numbers of dead fish were low and varied day to day depending on prevailing weather. Marine species like sand whiting are more susceptible to low oxygen levels, elevated salinity and cool water temperatures of a closed inlet, unlike estuarine species that have evolved to better cope with such conditions. Affected fish may show symptoms including red spots or ulcers on their skin and reddening of their gills. Some schools of whiting have been observed behaving unusually in the shallows, a bit like Trelly when he's on a party.
I was going to say,
suspect.
I have seen, what did it say? Behaving unusually in the shallows. I have seen you behaving unusually plenty of times in the shallows.
And red gills.
Yeah, and red gills. Remember that Superman outfit you wore?
Oh, yeah, dude.
I think we actually put a over here.
Move on.
Anyway, I've got to keep going with this one. Mr. Dowling said, we'll call him Mr. Dowling next week, said liaison with other natural resource agencies such as the East Gippsland Catchment Management Authority, the Environment Protection Agency and Parks Victoria suggested opening the inlet's entrance would not help the situation and could make things worse. The estuary needs to open naturally following good rain, which will flush the entire system. Opening the estuary at its current low water level risks losing the top layer of more oxygenated water and leaving the cooler water behind. So seriously.
So we need to put the order in for rain.
I think it's a debate.
Pretty much.
Everybody debates, should you open something artificially? Get the tractor in, dig it out and all that. And every time it comes back that it should be natural. I'm not an expert. We're not experts. You can only believe in what they say. So
I've heard that before with the freshwater thing. It's like you try and put a flush down, you can actually make things worse than what it is.
Yeah.
So I don't know the actual, whether you can pump water above it and make it natural, like out of
from the desal plant or something.
Yeah. So you can do something like that.
Because I know, Bem River they open with explosives, but that's because it's just about floods the whole car park.
All right, got to keep going, boys.
Right, let's go.
I'm on this one, I think. Lake Bullenmeroi near Camperdown in the southeast of Victoria. The Minister for Agriculture, Jala Pulford, has recently said there has been fears that the only remaining boat ramp would need to be closed due to safety concerns around access to the pontoon jetties. Pontoons were damaged during the powerful storms that intensified the Camperdown bushfire back in March and have now fallen into disrepair. The good news is the Victorian Fisheries Authority has provided up to $15,000 from Target 1 million to Lake Bullenmeroi South Beach Foreshore Committee Management to undertake urgent remedial works, and you can see the photos there, they're doing it. This will ensure the ramp remains safe and open for recreational anglers to get access to the lake. The repair works to the damaged infrastructure started this week, so there you go, that's that one.
Winning.
Boys, quick video. Let's have a look at what fisheries officers get up to a day in the life of metropolitan fisheries officers. And they get around, those guys, I'll tell you. No, well, that's a little social media clip that we thought we'd play. And
Cracking video.
Well, when that job come up again, there'll be quite a few people applying. I'd say.
You'd qualified, walking backwards. But anyway, one last one. Blackfish numbers, they're on the increase in 2018. I think we've got a photo of a blackfish because I'm not that familiar with them, Charlie, but you are. But a recent survey of two-spined blackfish in the northeast region was completed by the Arthur Rylah Institute as part of an ongoing environmental monitoring program by AGL Energy. That shows a significant increase in two-spined blackfish numbers in 2008 compared to previous years. The monitoring program in the Kiewa River catchment commenced in 1998, 10 years ago, and continues to date, and has been used to demonstrate that there are no detectable adverse impact of current desilting practices on the blackfish abundances and population structure. Trelly, the blackfishes, are they making a bit of a comeback? Like, well, they certainly are in the Kiewa.
Yeah, that's right.
The numbers, are people catching them?
They are, but the problem is we've had these couple of droughts that have sort of gone through back in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
A lot of those little creeks where they actually, their habitat areas were actually dry.
Yeah.
And they fall back into the Goulburn and they fall back into some of those bigger waterways. So, so it makes it really hard to get a sort of a ticket on what's sort of going on with them. But look, we always get a bit of report that someone catches a blackfish. I mean, the old timers would call them a slimy.
Yep.
And always a really good bait for cod. If you get the old blokes, they'd hook them up in the back and let them go and catch a cod with one. But practices of days gone by, which is something to know about.
Yeah.
But good eating.
Yep.
Nice little white, a nice white sort of a fluffy type of flesh. And quite good, but they call them a slimy or blackfish.
Minimum and maximum size. Have you seen a big one?
23 centimetres is a minimum size.
Yeah. You seen big ones?
I have seen some big ones up to probably about 35 centimetres, 40 centimetres. Not of late.
Yeah.
And there's a closed season on them below the Great Dividing Range in September to December 31.
There you go. All the info on the blackfish. Coming up next, Product of the Week ads is going to tie you a rig for a very prolific species in Port Phillip Bay right after this.
Talking fishing.
Good morning, spotters. Stephanie speaking.
Product of the Week, brought to you by Tackle World.
Talking fishing.
All right, now I'm going to put ads on the spot this week, I tell you. Product of the Week now, ads.
Yep.
We are probably enjoying one of the best garfish seasons.
Yeah, which is
I would say
unreal because we haven't had a garfish season for 5 years.
That's right.
I don't think so. It's good to see them turn up.
Yeah.
And one of the most frequent questions we're getting asked is how to actually rig up for garfish. It's not complicated, but there's a process to follow, as most things.
Well,
so,
can I say,
now,
there's a lot of components.
There is.
It's not just a sinker, a swivel, and a hook.
No, and listen, it's not hard, but it's more choosing the right gear. So we'll start with the float because it's generally the most common way that you would fish for them. There are so many different floats to choose from on the market. So
What happened to the old black, white and red blackfish float?
Nah,
that I used to dangle off a black queen rod.
Yeah, because they phased out with black queen stuff. So don't worry about that. But my only advice with a float is to choose the lightest float you can, depending on the conditions. So
also sink otherwise.
Yeah, that's right. So shut up, Charlie. I've got a very light float here for calm conditions.
Is that glowing?
That's glowing. I'll get to that in a minute. And we've got the humble pencil float, which when conditions are a little bit rougher. So it's a fine line between finding something light enough that the fish won't feel, but heavy enough that you can see what's going on. So the most complex part to this rig would be the float stoppers. And to be honest, it is...
Hang on, people are just saying at home, what is a float stopper?
What is a float stopper? I'm about to show you, and I'm about to show you how to put them on because this is...
This is going to be good. We're going to film 4 pound
fluorocarbon. And you know what? 4 pound fluorocarbon that I've lost the end. What a disaster. Here, look, I'll show you on the end of this. Here, I've got it here. So, float stoppers. They come on a little device like this, which has got like a little ring pull sort of a arrangement at the end, and then you've got a loop of line with all your different beads and things on it. So easiest way to do that, identify your loop, pass your leader through it. Now this 4 pound fluorocarbon is probably the worst line I could have chosen to do it, but you don't drop it. You put it through the loop.
I spent thousands on my eyes getting them fixed. I still can't even see it.
You put it through the loop.
Sue my surgeon.
And basically you pass it through the loop.
Yep.
And then slide the float stopper over the loop, which closes the loop.
That's brilliant.
And transfers it
onto the line.
Your main line.
That's it.
And that gives you your float stopper. Now, with the float stopper, choose the smallest float stopper you can because you can set that. This is what sets the depth of your rig. Yeah. You can run that if you're in 5 metres of water and you need to get this rig down to 3 metres, you can actually run that back onto the reel.
Slide it.
Yeah, okay.
So you can set that. No, you don't need to spit on it.
No, just spit on it.
No, don't need to spit on it.
So it's just a bit of rubber bead virtually, isn't it?
Well, you don't need that hard bead. I'll show you what that's there for. Okay. That hard bead, if you can see, I know it's very hard, I apologise, but where the line goes through the actual float, a rubber float stopper can sometimes get jammed in that, not allowing it to move. So that just blocks it from going through. That sets your maximum, and then you run another float stopper underneath, so that you've got the length of your rig. Split shot from there.
Okay, so you're running a couple of split shot under the rig.
That's right.
Under the float.
The amount of split shot is going to depend on the weight of the split shot and also the conditions. So split shot come in heaps of different ways. You can buy them in a single pack or a little dial pack like this, which has a few different sizes. I'm covered for every situation. What you want to do is that float, you want that weighted so that you can just see the top bit. The point is to offer no resistance to the garfish. They can be so unbelievably finicky, these things, that if it's calm, dead calm, you might only have a couple of mil of that float showing, just so that you can see it duck under. If it's rough, you might need to sit more out because you don't want to get getting swamped. You need to be able to see it. That glow stick is removable.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that a glow stick?
It is a glow stick.
It's like a stick.
So you can take it out and change it. I would suggest even in...
Great for fishing at night.
That's right. But even in daylight hours, put the glow stick in. It's generally dark and gloomy. We are in winter, so we don't get too many bright sunny days.
That's just a stick then, is it?
Yep. That's the one that comes with it.
So a stick comes with it, but if you want to fish at night, it's a glow stick.
You can have a glow stick. Yeah. So a couple of split shot to weight your float. Then at the business set, another split shot which sits about an inch above your hook, and that's to keep the bait at depth. So I've tangled that up already. So that sits up there, crimp to your line. It's just to keep the bait at depth. So you only need one there. This is important.
How is that split shot crimped under the line, or is that running?
It is, but I did it with me fingers,
with
so it's
teeth.
not. Don't tell me, Mum. Down to that, a white bead. So this is a white glow bead. The reason for that, a lot of the baits that you use for garfish, maggots, silverfish are white. They come and take the bait. There's something white left for them to come back for when they're in that mad frenzy. So again, it's just It applies to all fish of the globe, but it comes in very handy. And this, Dave, I know you'll agree with me, that is the best garfish hook of all time. That's a little mustard bronzed number 12 hook.
Yeah, size 12 long shank.
Yes.
That's a very narrow gap.
That's right.
That's the key.
That's right. It's a very small gape. It's got a huge barb on it. Long shank because they will gut hook.
Yep.
Well,
the beauty of having that
insane.
long, and that's quite a long shank for
It
a
is a
size
long
12,
shank, yep.
that you can
And that's
actually
what you
get the
want.
hook out of the fish pretty quickly and get that bait, because when they're schooled up around the pier that you're on, you want to get your bait back into the water and get on them.
That's right. So now, for that reason, I prefer not to fish 2 hooks.
Yeah.
So we see a lot of people fish 2 hooks with a float rig.
Yeah.
Gars are very finicky, and they'll jump around and twist each other up, and you spend more time untangling your rig trying to get the garfish off than catching garfish. So, quickly to recap before I get to bait and burley, it's a float stopper at the top, so that goes on first. Then you can run your float arrangement through it. Depending on what float you're using, it'll give you a few different ways to rig it up. You've then got another float stopper, which again, it's to adjust depth. Couple of split shot to weight your float. That's got nothing to do with your bait. Another split shot an inch above the hook to keep the bait down. A small white glow bead and a number 12 mustard long shank hook.
There you go.
There's the rig. A couple little other secrets there, Charlie.
Okay.
I would never, ever go fishing for garfish without burley.
No.
Now, burley comes in many different ways, shapes or forms, and all of them work. This is a stimulate burley. It's got the pheromone. It's got all the bits and pieces.
What do? You just like rip open the packet and go like that?
No, a little often. It's the same rule. A little often. So it's the same rule as what you would apply to snapper. I would mix that with a little bit of water, just salt water. Knead it into little balls and flick it in because it'll slowly dissolve.
Yeah.
And, then you get it. Yeah. Don't just tip the whole packet. Don't just tip the whole packet in. So
cornflakes everywhere.
burley. The other unfortunate thing this season, and this is Murphy's Law.
Is this edible?
Oh,
No.
Not edible. And you're asking the fish to eat it.
Yeah.
No,
Then
don't.
you eat the fish.
Yeah.
I could try it later on.
Unfortunately, Murphy's Law, we haven't had a garfish season in a long, long time. And when we finally get one, we can't get silverfish.
Yeah.
And if we can get it, it's imported and it's the size of my little finger. This is a 1-inch gulp minnow. That is the best imitation for a silverfish you'll ever get.
Smallest gulp minnow I've ever seen.
That's right, and they are the best little whitebait imitation you'll ever get, and you can actually use that as bait. I wouldn't prefer it, but I definitely have it as a backup.
You can't get silverfish. And
No.
for people thinking silverfish are the things that eat your clothes in the wardrobe, they're not.
No.
They're a tiny, tiny little fish that are imported.
Well, you can't. They are local to Port Phillip Bay, and they're tiny and they're beautiful. But the ones
they're
we're
just not
getting at the
getting them.
moment, if we can get them, are imported, and they are literally the size of my little finger, so they're huge.
Yeah.
But maggots is another great one. Small bits of pippy, small bits of prawn, anything that's white and quite soft. But those little gulp minnows are crackers.
There you go. Product of the week coming up next. Kramer's mailbag. Plenty to talk about very soon on Talking Fishing.
Talking fishing.
We know what you'd rather be doing.
We know what you've really got in mind.
We know you'd rather be out fishing. And today's the day you're gonna wet a line. 'Cause every day's a good day.
Stop wishing.
Every day's a chance to drift away. Drift away.
Every day's a good day for fishing. See it down and tackle world today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing. We're talking fishing.
On.
What is going on here?
What the? Yeah, I tell you what, you seriously.
Can't take them
Honestly,
anywhere.
not
Charlie
that good.
said he'd tried the burley during the break.
Yeah,
and
no,
what's it taste like, Charlie?
Oh, it's a bit like sand, actually. It's sort of really gritty. But, Mary, I think the pheromones are going to kick in shortly, so look out.
All right, Kramer's mailbag.
apologise
Let's
for bringing
get
back
into it.
everything.
Evan writes to us, "Hi, gents. Can you please keep the pressure on the state government and potentially invite a minister to the studio to discuss the state of our boat ramps and where our money is going. Restocking has been great, but our facilities are in desperate need of upgrade. So, Evan, we totally agree with you. There's some real problems with boat launching facilities, and
we'll complain to everybody. Doesn't matter who they are.
I think people are starting to say, "Oh, is this happening? Is that happening?" And quite frankly, we've got no idea what's happening. We can only report what's happening. But I think in the next couple of weeks leading up to the state election, there'll be some promises made, and hopefully fixing boat ramps is one of them. So, Charlie, you can read the next one. Shay Ram wrote to us.
Now Shay, writing in. Shay, hi Kramer and my mates. Good Shay. To reply to that Tess guy last week. Not if Tess was a guy or a girl, I'm not real sure.
I thought Tess was a girl. She was complaining about us having beer.
Yeah, so it's got down as a guy here, so I'll keep on going.
Yeah.
That Tess guy is a jerk. So anyway, he's not a jerk.
Straight to the point.
So your ratings are tops, mate. I love the new look with a D. D again, the bar, and the fishing rods, and the dartboard. And I even got that right. All he saw was, all she saw was a stubby. Didn't even know it's empty. Ha. Oh, ha. There's two of those here. Ha, ha. Your context, I think you mean content, is
I thought I was going to have trouble with this.
the same. Talking fishing, constructive and informative, which is all good. Now, well done for a good job, Bates. I've been watching your show for ages, and if he was a real fisherman, he could have taken all that good points from your information and not just whinge about your empty stubbies bottles. Well done, mates. Love you always. Regards, Shay.
Oh, there.
Thanks, Shay.
On your show. Thank you.
Have a beer with you one day.
Yeah. This is one
Not
for
on
Kevin.
set.
No.
You know Kevin, our producer?
Yes.
I think he's stuffed up.
Oh, this is good.
No, this is Kevin.
Oh, can I see?
The only thing is he's stuffed up for 132 episodes, and I want to see this at the end of this. Graham Miller has written to us from Patterson Lakes, and he says, check your spelling on your mailbag. You have only one T in Patterson Lakes, which has annoyed me for years.
Can we rerun the start?
No, well, I think it's when I throw to how to write in, it
Oh,
must be
so
on there.
we'll keep it on.
So
Yeah,
it's everyone at home, keep an eye on the little thing that we have on next when we throw to Kramer's mailbag.
We're just idiot fishermen, Graham.
Because Patterson Lakes apparently is only spelt with one T, and it's annoyed Graham for years. But he's taken 132 weeks to write to us.
Go.
Anyway, Melissa.
Had to check it.
All right, they're yelling in our ear to have a look at it. Let's have a look at it. Quick.
Send your mail to Kramer's Mailbag, PO Box 734, Patterson Lakes, Victoria 3197, or email kramer@ifish.com.au.
Patterson Lakes.
Well, it's only got one T, boys.
Yep.
I'll tell you what.
Blooper number.
Graham,
Graham, you get a prize. That was planned all along. We're just going to see the first one to notice it was.
Graham, if you'd like a job as a producer on Talking Fishing,
please send your resume into Patterson Lakes.
Yeah, to Patterson. Now, Melissa Taranto de Leva wrote to us and wrote, hi, Talking Fishing, boys. Do you have any news for the inlet Gippsland Bay? Will there be a closure there like Port Phillip? Well,
For what?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if she thinks the entrance is going to close, but I don't recall Port Phillip Bay entrance closing. But it just says, any news on inlet Gippsland Bay? Will there be a closure there like Port Phillip?
No, Port Phillip's not closed.
No, Port Phillip's not closed. I've got no idea what Melissa's talking about, but I think
Right
unless
back in, Melissa, so that we can...
no, unless she's talking about the nets, maybe.
Oh, maybe.
Okay.
For which I'd have to say there's no plans to end the
Netting?
Gippsland nets
So far.
or in the inlet Gippsland Bay.
Not that we've seen.
Gippsland Bay.
So no plans for that, Melissa. But anyway, thanks for writing to us. If you'd like to write into Kramer's mailbag, this is what you have to do.
Send your mail to Kramer's Mailbag, PO Box 734, Patterson Lakes, Victoria 3197, or email kramer@ifish.com.au.
And I mean, great point by Graham. That's why we haven't been getting a lot of mailbag lately, because they've been sending it all to Patterson Lakes with one T.
No, to Patterson Lakes.
I think it's New South Wales.
So there's some poor PO box in Patterson Lakes that's overflowing.
It's probably overflowing.
Or some poor person thinking, what's these questions all about?
Absolutely.
Dead fish.
Now, Trelly, want to talk to you seriously.
Again.
No.
I feel like I've been interrogated by my mum.
No, Murray Cod, closed season starts in, what, about 2 or 3 weeks?
Correct. Yep.
September 1.
Yep.
Yeah. Are people out there like the build up to trout season, where everyone goes, oh, they're better spawn and they're running in the the rivers and that. Do people go out over the next couple of weeks and target Murray cod in a big way?
They do actually. Yeah, we probably haven't seen the hype so far, but there's certainly a few more people. The weather's changed a little bit too, which makes it a little bit easier. But certainly it's like the end of the run. It's like, we've got to get a bit of a cod fishing before it finishes up. Let's go.
But
we do it.
But do Murray cod also become a lot more feisty or more aggressive coming into a spawning season or anything?
Does anything in a spawning season get
more
feisty?
I guess a trout. A trout does. You're thinking of your nightclub nights.
No, we do see an actual increase in activity as far as the fish side of things is concerned. So, no, look, if you go the next couple of weeks towards the end of this month and fish up to the 1st, which is the closing, you will get a little bit more action going on for sure, absolutely. So,
if you miss the closing, you can always fish at Eildon.
That's right,
no, absolutely. But the other point I want to make is leading into the closure of the trout season, all those people that go up to Jindabyne and Yukonbean and places like that, and they virtually use a trout egg type imitation, because that's what the fish are potentially eating. Do Murray cod eat on their own? Like, do they eat their own? Is there a certain lure that you'd use that you wouldn't at any other time of year? Like, is it different from Murray cod?
They definitely eat their own, because I recall a past episode of iFish where that actually happened to you and Paul, didn't it?
Exactly, yeah. We caught about a 56 centimetre cod up at the Monster Lakes up in middle of New South Wales, and had one over a metre come along and try and
chew it.
Scoff.
I tried to grab the other cod.
Exactly, it was on film and all. Yeah. So we went very well. Yeah, that's right. They certainly do eat their own. That's no worries,
So,
as far as eggs, I don't know about putting eggs on a hook. I don't know cod eggs, but golf balls. Some golf balls.
Chicken eggs.
But is there a certain type of lure that works best in this next couple of weeks, the last couple of weeks of the season?
Not really, no. No, it's all back to water clarity, conditions of the water, a few spinner baits and hard body lures, but nothing in particular like that.
There you go. A couple of questions I wasn't sure about, and of course it's closed season, but like you said, Eildon is open. Now, I think the 3 months that it's cod closed season, if you like, in the rivers, Eildon does tend to get hit, and it's a good time to get up there. You get those beautiful. I mean, the days are actually getting longer, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
You can actually
and it's noticeable.
tell.
It's noticeable, definitely.
Get that wind. Eildon will be great without that wind. It's pretty protected with a bit of wind, but
there you go. Coming up, the all-important hotspots next on Talking Fishing.
Talking Fishing.
G'day, Callan here from Paul Worslam's Tackle World Cranbourne. Supercharged batteries have been supplying maintenance-free marine batteries since 2001. The Seamaster Gold range is second to none, delivering superior starting power and reserve capacity. No need to top up with water, truly a fit and forget battery. With up to 2 years replacement warranty, you know you have quality. Your battery is your lifeline. Without it, you're dead in the water because it's bloody hard to push start. I've got a Seamaster battery in my boat. Make yours a Seamaster Gold today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
And now the segment you've all been waiting for.
Hotspots, brought to you by Seamaster Batteries. Make yours a Seamaster Gold today.
Now, we understand that the weather is pretty foul at the moment, the wind, the rain, and I don't think it's getting any better this weekend, boys, is it?
That's right, it's not.
But if there is a break, we've got a couple of cold spots for you.
Absolutely. No, hot spots.
All right.
Trelly's looking up some info on his phone, so Trelly, if you want to keep doing that, you look it up, because we've got a bit of info we want to share.
Never mind, they're on live TV. It's all
but, no, it's all good, but let's get into the hotspots, and Frankston Pier would be the number one hotspot for garfish and salmon at the moment.
Definitely that, and they actually prefer, especially for the salmon, they prefer the rough weather. So as the wind keeps blowing, swap your floats out for metal slugs, and as it calms off of a night time, get the burley in the water and get a few gars.
Went past Frankston Pier the other day, and the amount of gannets diving into the water is unbelievable. So there must be a lot of bait as well as a lot of salmon.
The salmon won't be far away if there's plenty of bait.
Yeah, absolutely. Over on the western side of Port Phillip Bay is the Corio Bay, and I tell you what, the inner harbour for garfish as well, Trelly, was in your Trelly's weekly fishing report.
Yeah, it's been
garfish really well.
Yeah, really good. And thanks, Ads, for tying up the rig. So Certainly it's been fishing really well over there, and it's all accessible to land-based. You can fish off the Cunningham Weir and places like that.
It blows me away how much excitement garfish generate. We've forgotten with a few poor seasons, but they're as much a targeted species as anything at the moment.
Yeah. Let's head over to Western Port, and the Flinders Pier is the capital of calamari at the moment. Great if we've got a northerly wind blowing, because it's protected there from the northerly, which we've got quite a bit of for the next 7 days, north and northwest, and it's perfect in that north and northwest. Big fish there at the moment. Put a silver whiting under a float. It's probably your best method at high tide.
And then cast your jigs around the float.
Absolutely.
That'll be my tip.
Now, we talked about salmon in Catch of the Week. There's some big salmon around, boys, and while they were in the bays during the summer, it was fantastic salmon fishing, but they have certainly hit the beaches, and there's no other place than Kilcunda right now as the next hotspot. Get down to Kilcunda. It's an easy drive through Tooradin, down that way, past Phillip Island, and get down to Kilcunda. There's a few beaches down there to pick from, and seriously, they're all fishing very, very well. What's best method, Ads, for down Kilcunda?
Best method would be, for the bait fisher, a bit of blue bait and a surf popper, focus around your tide changes, or a 40 to 50 gram metal slice, which I must admit that we've probably seen more people than we have for years walking the beaches throwing lures, because you can just walk around a bit, find the fish, and there's nothing that to catch 20, 30 fish in a session.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's been good.
Trelly, another one out of your fishing report this week was the Merry River, or the Merri River, down at Warrnambool. It is one of several rivers that is left open during the trout close season, because it's a bit of a sea run type river, goes out to sea, and you get a lot of trout in that system that actually go down towards the salt and come back up. But the Merri River is fishing sensationally for brown trout at the moment.
Yeah, it's been fishing for a little bit now, so the reports are starting to sort of sift through the system. So the guys down there probably won't like that, but no, it's been fishing really, really well. You know, all the old common lures with a few of the newer ones. So check out your shops and get the latest on them.
I think if anyone wants to get some the lowdown on techniques and that for the Merri and the Hopkins, which is another great river down that way, go and see Chris down at Tackle World Geelong.
Exactly.
Because he's full of information, gets down there a fair bit. And the other one is up at Eildon. We've seen probably one of the best trout seasons, I think, in Lake Eildon for many years. And Jerusalem Creek is the place to go up that arm of Lake Eildon. It's fishing pretty well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's been fishing very well. Pink lures, pink Tassie Devils, probably flatline has probably been the favourite one.
Yep.
But then you've also got a chance for a redfin or a yellow belly or a big cod. So even those cod can get caught on some of the little vibes that you might be even throwing around for a trout. So could hold a few surprises up there.
Yeah, there you go. So there's the hot spots. We know that it's pretty poor weather, but anyway, get out if you can, and make sure you send us your pics if you do get out to one of our hot spots. Now, Trelly, we're counting down the days not only to the end of cod season, but we're also counting down the days to the opening of trout season. There's some pretty big celebrations about to happen, isn't there?
Yeah, that's right. Now, it's going to be released. That's why I was really looking at my phone here before, because I took a snap of it. But below Eildon in the Goulburn River there and down through those couple of tributaries, there's going to be about 2,000 trout released. And they say that the weight of that 2,000 fish is around about 7 tonne.
Wow.
So that's a bit of good news for those people who want to venture up there over the trout opening, 1st of September, and fish that lower or top end of the Goulburn River below the wall, that sort of area there. So again, you know, a lot of these fish are probably being fed with the pellets. You know, I'd say you get out there with a little float like you did before, you know, rig up accordingly and just throw pellets out and do a few things like that. You're going to catch some fish. So
these trout are bigger trout than normal that are stocked by
some of these trout. Some of these trout are up to, you know, look, I'll probably get this wrong, up to around about 5 to 7 kilos. So
so big broodstock fish they're putting in there.
They're sort of putting in there. That's right. So
I think we're trying to create the days of old.
Yeah.
You know, back in the 60s and 70s perhaps, where hundreds and hundreds of anglers used to head up to places like the Goulburn River and fish it, and it was a big gig, wasn't it, the opening of a trout season on many rivers. And I know there's also a festival over at Ballarat, but the Goulburn will certainly be the place to be. They actually have the opening festival, I think, in Lake Eildon.
Correct.
At the town of Eildon.
Yep. Yeah, so a lot of activities will be going on there over that weekend, but the highlight will be the fishing there. Absolutely.
Yeah, there you go.
And the good thing with trout, they bite almost straight away. You know, a lot of fish that are stocked, generally you can get a 1 to 2 week period where they take a bit of time to adjust to the conditions. Trout are pretty good. You notice it with a few of the small lakes around home.
Yeah.
As soon as they're stocked, they're ready to be caught.
They do,
It's really cool.
Yeah, on the go.
Yeah. So it is an exciting time in Victorian rivers with the cod closing the trout opening. It's going to be a good time. Trelly, I also noticed you got an extravaganza coming up or something like that, have you?
That was a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, you already had it? I seen it today advertised. You got another one coming up.
Yeah, no, we have got
you don't even know.
We'll have one. We've got one coming up in Geelong in October and in Shepparton in November. So there's a few bits and pieces going on. Then we've got the Go Fish Ngambie next year. So
that'll be big time.
Yeah, which is I think up to about $250,000 worth of cash giveaways, $250,000 worth of prizes, and $250,000 worth of other giveaways.
Yep.
So it's going to be an amazing thing next year, but we're reporting that as we go.
Now that Go Fish Ngambie, I think, is the biggest or most richest fishing comp in Australia now, is it?
Correct.
I mean, it hasn't occurred
Freshwater.
yet. Yeah. When did you say that was?
That'll be. It'll start the day after Anzac Day next year. Anzac Day is on the Thursday.
Yep.
But the fishing will actually start on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yep.
So now the rumour is it's only rumour at the moment. It'll be the biggest cod will be $80,000 cash.
Serious?
Yep. That's not concrete.
Wow.
I get that from pretty good sources, and it's going to be amazing.
If people obviously that want to go will need to book accommodation and that now. Where do they go to find all the info?
We can just look up Go Fish Ngambie, and they've got a lot of links to what's going on, the whole area there as far as accommodation and things like that. But once the package sort of gets a bit more finalised, they'll probably have some other people come on board. But Jerry Ryan with Jayco is the major sponsor, so I think he's got a lot of accommodation sort of up there too at these parks.
And there's going to be stalls and that sort of thing as well?
Food, wine, fishing, all sorts of things over that weekend. I think we might even get up and do a bit of a talk if we can get back together.
Awesome. There you go. A big thing that's going to occur in Victoria, the Go Fish Ngambie. We might get some information for it next week. But that's it for Talking Fishing. We hope you enjoyed the show. Another windy and wet week already, ahead, unfortunately. But if you'd like to wet a line, make sure you send us your pics. A big show next week. We are joined in the studio by the CEO of Fisheries, Travis Dowling. Make sure you tune in until we see you again next Tuesday on Talking Fishing. Please stay safe on the water and enjoy your fishing.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. We got all you need, just take a look. Watch those fish jump on your hook. So just relax and take your time. Enjoy the show, then drop us a line. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing.
Have a good weekend, Mr. Walker.
You too, son.